All right, welcome. Tonight we're diving into something pretty amazing. We're going to crack a cosmic code, a kind of universal fingerprint that's literally written in light, revealing the secret identity of, well, everything. So let's start with a huge question. How in the world do we know what distant stars are made of? I mean, think about it. It seems impossible, right? We can't just fly over there and take a sample. So how can we possibly know what's in an object that's trillions of miles away? Well, the answer, and this is the incredible part, has been traveling all that way, right across the cosmos, and hitting our eyes this whole time. It's hidden in the light. We have to learn how to read the message. Okay, so to crack this code, first things first, we have to understand the language it's written in. And believe it or not, that language is color. You've definitely seen this before. You know, when you pass sunlight through a prism or even just a piece of glass, and you get that beautiful, complete rainbow. Well, scientists have a name for that. They call it a continuous spectrum. And it's called that because it's got every single color all blended together without any gaps. But here's where it gets really interesting, where the secret is. That continuous spectrum, it's gorgeous, but it's kind of like a jumbled message. It's just all the information thrown together. The line spectrum, though, now that is a precise, readable code. Think of it like a unique barcode made of light, and every single element in the universe has its own. So where do these super precise barcodes even come from? Well, to figure that out, we have to go small, like really small. We need to shrink way down and check out the incredible light show that's happening inside every single atom. This whole process is called emission, and you see it all the time. It's happening right now in neon signs, in the fluorescent lights above you. It's just the simple act of an atom spitting out a tiny little packet of light, which we call a photon. So here's the play-by-play. First, an atom soaks up some energy, maybe from electricity or heat. That energy makes one of its electrons get all excited, and it jumps up to a higher energy level. But, it can't stay up there forever. It's unstable. So it quickly falls back down to where it started, and as it falls, bam, it releases all that extra energy as a single photon of light. Now, this is the crucial part. The color of that light is not random at all. It's a perfect measurement of the exact amount of energy that electron lost on its way back down. And since every element, hydrogen, helium, iron, has its own unique set of energy levels for its electrons, the colors of light it can spit out are totally, completely unique to that element. Okay, but wait, we need to be clear about something. Not all light comes from electrons jumping around like this. I mean, you've seen things glow just from being hot, right? That light is actually made in a totally different way. Just picture a metal poker in a campfire. As it heats up, it starts to glow red, right? Then orange, and if it gets hot enough, it'll glow white hot. This is what's called black body radiation. It's all about temperature, not those specific electron jumps we were talking about. And the spectrum it makes, you guessed it. It creates a continuous one, that full jumbled rainbow, not the precise barcode we're looking for. Okay, so we've established that these atomic fingerprints exist. That's the theory. But how do we actually see them in the real world? How do we get an element to show us its true colors, so to speak? Well, the simplest way is something called a flame test. You basically just sprinkle a chemical into a flame. For example, if you use a salt that has sodium in it, like table salt, the flame turns this really intense yellow-orange. If you use potassium, you get this pale kind of lilac color. And copper, that gives you a brilliant blue-green. Each one is totally distinct. But see, that's just the overall color. It's not the full barcode, It doesn't show us those individual sharp lines that make up the fingerprint. To see that, we need a more powerful tool. And that tool is called a spectroscope. What it does is actually pretty simple. It takes in the light through a tiny slit, uses a prism to spread it all out, just like making a rainbow, and then lets us see those individual color lines with amazing precision. It's basically the ultimate code reader for light. All right, let's put it to the test. Imagine we take a glass tube filled with hydrogen gas. We zap it with electricity so it starts to glow, and then we point our spectroscope at it. What do we see? Well, you might expect a rainbow, but that's not what you get. You see this, just a handful of specific, super sharp lines, a red one, a blue-green one, a couple of violet ones. This is the fingerprint of hydrogen. It's unmistakable, and it never, ever changes. Okay, cool. Now let's try another element.
What if we look at something different, like the mercury vapor that's inside pretty much any standard fluorescent light bulb?
And what do we get? A totally different barcode, a completely different pattern, different colors, different spacing between the lines, and this is what proves the whole idea. No two elements have the same line spectrum. They really are as unique as a person's fingerprint.
Okay, so let's recap. We have the fingerprints, and we have the tool to read them. Now it's time to take this whole concept out of the lab and go cosmic. And finally answer that big question we started with. So out there in the universe, there are 92 elements that occur naturally. 92. And because of everything we've just talked about, scientists have a complete library, a catalog of all 92 of their unique fingerprints made of light. Which brings us right back to where we started. Now that we know all this, how do we solve the mystery? How do we figure out what stars are made of? It's actually amazing. We do the exact same thing we did with those gas tubes in the lab. Astronomers point a powerful telescope with a spectroscope attached at a super distant star. They capture its light, they spread it out, and they see a pattern of lines. All they have to do then is match that pattern to the fingerprints in their library, and they can say with absolute certainty, yep, that star has hydrogen, that one has helium, and there's definitely some iron in there too.
It really is that simple and that profound. We can read the universe just by reading its light. So that leaves us with one last thought to chew on. If the ingredients of stars billions of miles away are written in light, what other secrets are hiding all around us, in plain sight, just waiting for us to figure out how to read them?